Again, another one that I'm seeing really professional companies missing way too often is the client avatar or the persona. So understanding the target market at an extraordinarily detailed level. I guess the mistake we see a lot is people, same sort of thing, just jumping straight into just putting ads up as quickly as possible. No real understanding of the audience. And what that leads to is very lukewarm advertising. You see a lot of amateur advertising saying things like, we are the number one fit, or we are the best team, or we create great relationships, like a silly sort of entry level type messaging. When you understand your audience at a really deep and specific level, you're in a much better position to serve them better than your competition. So that second step is what we call the client avatar. The way we'll do it is we will interview usually a lead salesperson or a perfect customer for our client. And we'll really understand what were their pain points. Typically, when you ask someone, what were your pain points before coming into the arrangement? They're like, oh, yeah, it was taking us too long or it was too extensive. But we'll never stop there. We'll always go much deeper. Okay, cool. How would you express that? What was that leading to? What sort of other behaviors was that causing? What was everyone else in the office saying about that particular pain point? That sort of thing. So we get really deep and granular. The salespeople will know this very well. If you just make sure they're focused on the optimal customers, they'll be able to tell you some great intel. And then if you can interview customers, that's also amazing intel. Then you can start diving into CRM, reviewing call logs, email notes, all that sort of thing. And then if you can document that into a beautiful sort of centralized document that depicts that perfect customer in absolute detail. So demographics, I think that's pretty basic, but then also pain points in their words, in detail. Differentiators, why did they see you as different? Why did they choose you? Why do they trust you? Benefits they're getting from your service, short-term and long-term. How did they explain your service? What's their sort of position? What's the way that they speak? What are the words they use? That sort of thing.
Amazing. Yeah, I could see it being an organizational level where it's not too big. What's the size you typically work with then? Because I can imagine if it's an enterprise level, I mean, there's so many stakeholders.
Yeah, for us, we'll typically work with a company that's under that 20 mil revenue mark, less than 50 employees. But this is a principle that applies across the board. I have seen large banks being right inside their marketing and that have got this right, that might have 20 different personas, but have it really well described so that when they have a full marketing department and all sorts of people creating all sorts of different content and videos, everyone's creating beautifully aligned content. So it applies to companies of all sizes. For us specifically, generally we're working with a smaller company and usually they'll only have sort of one or two target audiences and we can understand that audience in absolute depth.
Wow, that's amazing. So what happens next? What's after the next? What is the next step?
Okay, so now it's the time to start building. So when you understand your target market in that much detail, you already have such a profound advantage over the rest of the market. So all of your competitors are marketing at a surface level. You'll be the only one that understands in absolute detail what your audience is thinking. And the beautiful thing is once you've got that documented, everyone in the team understands. So your sales team now can have conversations that have true depth and true meaning. All of your marketing, if you're working with multiple marketing agencies, you have a big marketing department, everyone produces very aligned content. And then even your delivery team, now they understand that audience so well, they create new product features specifically for that audience, not just random things that they want to do.